Good morning, folks. How are we? Alrighty, let's get into it. Today, today's training is all about helping you understand first how to set your weight loss goals, and second, to help you understand how to break them down into smaller, doable chunks so that you don't freak out and feel like the big goal is unachievable, right? Or fall into the trap that I see some people trying to do as well, of setting something that feels like just a smaller goal, where they feel safe being able to achieve, but not really reaching their true full potential. And really achieving the true weight loss goals that they are truly capable of. So I am going to speak to weight loss. However, if your goal is something slightly different, whether that is transitioning your diet to a whole food plant-based diet, or whether that might be something along, in conjunction with transitioning, say lowering your blood sugar, your blood pressure, your cholesterol, something like that, or any other goal that you have in life, right? You can apply these exact same principles. So this is what my life coach trainer teaches. It's also what my business coach teaches. So it can apply to anything. It's just a process. But I'm specifically going to speak to weight loss because that's what I mostly help people achieve. All right. So you just slot your own goal into there. Right. So if you do have a large weight loss goal, right, and if that number feels really overwhelming to you, like you're at the beginning stages and that number is just feeling really overwhelming, it's really large, it's a long way away, and it feels sort of heavy, and it's making you feel a little bit scared. It might make you realize how far away you are from your goal, and it can be very easy to just kind of give up on yourself before you've even started. Like we go into this place of self-disbelief where we don't think like we can do it, like it's such a huge journey, and the brain starts to really freak out. I can't do it. I don't know how to lose that weight. And it really starts worrying about failure. Your brain starts worrying about failure before you've even tried. So that's one place that we can sort of get to when we're starting out in this journey. Or what can also happen when you realize how long your journey is going to take, like you might actually start to get really impatient because you're in a hurry to feel better now, right? So you might also start telling yourself that you have to be really restrictive and really perfect, and unless you're really restrictive and really perfect, that you're not going to succeed. And what you just start to do is you change everything all at once to try and close that gap and get to the end result quicker and faster. But what happens when you do that, there's so much change that happens all at once that within just a few weeks of really starting out, you really feel that pain of change. The brain doesn't like change. If you've ever heard me talk about this, the brain doesn't like change. So it's really hard if you try and change everything all at once. And what can happen at that point is that you can start self-sabotaging. And you sabotage because you want to quit, because it's also hard, because quitting in the moment actually feels like relief from what it is that you've been doing. It's relief from the hardness, relief from the punishment that you've been dishing yourself. Um, Another thing that can happen is, uh, if your weight loss goal is huge, say, for example, say you're at 200 pounds, for example, and you really want to get down to 50, and 50 just feels like, it's huge, right? If 150 is the goal weight for you to be in your sort of normal range for height, and to get you into the safe, healthy range. But if that feels like massive to you, and it's like, I don't know how I'm going to get there, I don't think I can do it. But if you start to say, well, 170, 180, okay, I'll set that as my goal, and I'll be happy with that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But what you might be doing is limiting yourself in terms of your ability to be able to get to the true number that you really want to do. And so what we do is we in some ways we have this energetic ceiling of what we won't allow ourselves to get above in terms of our weight, but we also start to create this energetic, I don't know what you call it, the opposite to a ceiling, like a floor. We create this kind of floor, and we just start to have this disbelief that we can get below there. So, and what you end up doing is settling for less than is desirable or what you're actually truly capable of. So I want to make sure that if you're in any of these positions, that this process can actually help you, one, um, uh, set that big goal and have it be scary, and that's okay, right? But also help you in a way that's not going to help you have you freak out on the journey, freak out about it, to bring it down to more doable chunks and set more doable tasks around those more doable chunks. Okay. And this is going to help your brain freak out less. And it's also going to stop you from the desire to change everything all at once, because you believe deep down that that's the only way that you can be successful. Alrighty, so let's just pause and take a hi to everyone who's watching. Let's just stop first and make sure that your goals are smart. I do see people who are setting weight loss goals, and it's like, I want to lose weight and I want to feel better, but they don't really have an idea yet of how much that they want to lose or what feeling better actually means. So let's just stop and look at SMART goals first. Got to make sure that that goal that you have is SMART. So SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. So specific and measurable go together hand in hand. So we want to get specific about how much it is that you want to lose or what weight you are trying to get to. Now, when I say specific around a goal, the number is just a number. It's a target, but you want to have an idea of what it is that you are working to. We don't want to be a slave to this number necessarily, but we want to also know what it is that we're aiming for. And I'll talk about that in just in the next section as well, when we get to looking at how long we think it might take. So that specificity is going to then determine how long we think it's going to take. And we also want to make sure that we're able to measure that goal. So if you're getting specific about the number, you will need to ensure that you have ability to measure that number, like you have a scale to get on. Now, if you don't have a scale, that's okay too. There are other ways that you can get specific and measure your progress. So that might be getting into particular articles of clothing that you haven't been able to get into in the past, that pair of jeans, that dress that you want to get into. But it needs to be something that can easily show you progress. I've had a couple of clients actually, who've said to me, oh my goodness, the jeans fit again, or oh my goodness, my pants are falling off, I've got to go down the next size. So size can be a really good indicator as well. Using a belt notch. One client has just had tightening her belt now. She can really start to see that progress, even though she's measuring herself on the scale as well. But these other indicators are really great ways to indicate progress as well. Using a tape measure on your body is a really great way to show progress, to be able to measure your progress. However, it's a little hard to set a target, because unless you actually know what numbers you're working towards, it's a little hard to set that as a specific goal. But it is a great way to show progress. Okay, so let's move on to achievable and realistic. I kind of see these two as going hand in hand. Achievable, and realistic. I guess, if you're somebody who is in their 40s or 50s, for example, you've had kids, maybe your body has changed somewhat during that process, make sure that you're not setting a target for yourself that is, based on what you weighed or what you looked like when you were a college athlete. Right? Make sure the number is realistic too, right? But also don't keep your vision small. Don't use realistic as a way to stop yourself from achieving what is truly possible for you. But yes, just make sure that your goal is achievable. You're not trying to achieve a weight that is going to be unhealthy or is just not realistic for your time of life. And then we've got time-based. So here again, we want to know how long it's going to take you. Set yourself a target time, but again, don't necessarily use that as don't be a slave to that, I guess. Don't, because what we want to avoid doing as well is setting ourselves up for feeling like a failure if we're not here at this specific time. But we want to make sure that time is realistic. And again, don't if your goal is to lose 50 pounds, don't be set trying to lose 50 pounds in 3 months. And I'm going to talk you how to set a realistic time in a moment. So that's setting our SMART goals. Make sure that your goals are SMART, they are specific, you can measure them, they are achievable, and they're realistic, and you've got a realistic time to achieve that goal. You know how long it should take you to achieve. Okay, so now let me show you. I'm going to show you a visual. I'm just get my iPad up as well. I'm going to show you a visual that's going to help you through the next step, and that then is breaking down that big scary goal and helping you make it feel more doable on a day-to-day basis. All right, so I just want to get my bits and pieces all lined up here so I can see everything, I can do everything. All right, so this is when we look at that goal and go, oh, we start to freak out. Which is quite normal. Okay, so here is the process that we're going to start working through in order to break it down. Let me share my screen with you. Now, my clients are well and truly used to my gorgeous little diagrams here. I do these awesome drawings for them as we're working together all the time. Okay, so what we have here in this circle on the outside here, we have your ultimate goal, your big scary goal, that faraway goal, that goal that is going to take a long time to get to. And in the middle here, this is where you are now. This is kind of like your comfort zone. This is where the habits that you have today have brought you to the result that you have today. This is where you're living nice and comfortably, or let's just say you're probably not comfortable, but this is the comfort zone of where you are now. And this gap in between here, this is everything. This is everything that needs to change. And this is all the habits that you'll need to look at letting go of. And all of the habits or all of the learnings that you will be adopting on the way to getting to that larger goal. So what I mean by that, I'm just going to put a little text box in here. So these are some of the things that you might have to let go of. So here we've got, it might be unhelpful foods. Unhelpful foods that are not going to keep you, not going to take you towards your weight loss goals. This might be food addictions that you might need to say goodbye to. Sugar, dairy, they're very addictive foods. This might be overeating. Whoops, let's type that properly. Overeating of any sort. Over drinking can be in here as well, right? Unnecessary. There's a lot of calories in alcohol. You can still have some alcohol and lose weight, yes, but when we're over drinking, that can hold us back. Emotional eating sits in here. It might be all the stories that you're holding on to. Stories, drama, all the bullshit. Yes, they contribute to weight loss, believe me. It might be limiting beliefs. Whoops, I can't spell. Limiting beliefs. Your limiting beliefs about what you're capable of will hold you back. This might be your self-punishment. How you speak to yourself. Your self-beat up. Oops, I think self-beat up. There we go. This is self-punishment, self-beat up, the language that you use, how you speak to yourself. If you speak to yourself unkindly, that's got to go, right? That's one of the things we really need to let go of on this journey. People-pleasing, right? Eating things because other people want you to. putting everybody else first instead of putting yourself first. What else? Allowing life to drag you off track. Um, using that as an excuse to not continue to work on the relationship between your hand and your mouth, right? That's all. Life does not need to affect what you put in your mouth, but when we do, that's something that is standing in the way of you getting outside of your comfort zone and getting to your goals. Allowing the scale and the number on the scale to rule your thoughts, emotions, and actions. That's something we do a fair amount of work with my clients, helping them let go of letting that scale rule their life. It's a tool to measure. It's not there to tell you to beat you up. You do not need to use it as a weapon against yourself. So they're just some of the things that you might need to let go of in this space in between your comfort zone and your goal. So let's look at some of the things that you might need to adopt in this space. Yeah, it feels scary, right? This is why it feels scary. We realize, oh my God, there's all this stuff. But let's just have a look at it. What we might want to adopt. More green light foods. If we're currently eating heavily over in the orange or even the red light foods, we're going to have to bring more green light foods into our world. Excuse me, I just need to grab myself a tissue. Okay, more green light foods. You might need to get yourself hydrated, drink water. You might need to get some more sleep. Do not underestimate water and sleep on the weight loss journey, right? If you do, it's going to hold you back. So if your hydration and your sleep habits are not where they should be, then this is something within that space between your comfort zone and your goal that needs to be worked on. Movement, right? If you're not moving your body at all, you might want to adopt some movement. And in that early days, it doesn't need to be like going to the gym. It could be going for a 15-minute walk if you're not doing anything right now. We'll talk about that in a moment. Self-love. That's the opposite to the self-punishment we talked about and the self-beat-up. When you come at this journey from a place of self-love rather than self-punishment, you're more likely to get there. So that's one of the development, the things that you need to develop within this space. Emotional management, particularly if you're an emotional eater, right? Learning tools to manage your emotions and reduce your stress and calm your nervous system so that you don't need to buffer with food or with alcohol, whatever your buffering is, right? Managing your mindset, thoughts, beliefs, right? If up here we've got limiting beliefs, we've got stories and drama that we tell ourselves in our head, then managing all of that so that it takes us towards our goal instead of keeping us within our little comfort zone here is really, really key. You've got to develop that self-belief, right? You've got to believe in your ability to create something to achieve a goal that you've never achieved before. You've got to believe in it. If you don't believe in that, how many times do we believe in things that don't, I won't say don't exist, that we don't have proof of? Deities, for example. How many people have literally physically seen a god of some sort? Yet there are religions around the world that are fully believing in a god, in a deity. So use that. If you're someone who has belief, use that sort of belief in yourself, right? How can you take that level of belief and believe in yourself to create a result for yourself that you have not yet seen? It's possible. I'm helping clients do this all the time. Right, visualize the life you want so that you start living into it instead of recreating the life that you have. There's so many things that you will need to adopt in this space between your comfort zone and your goal, right? And it feels very, very, very scary, right? So I think I'm supposed to stop share here. Yes. I think that's what I'm supposed to do. Anyway, we'll come back, flip my notes around. Yes. So you see now why what is in that space in between where you are and where you want to be. So one, what we want to do is have our big scary goal in that vision. We want to allow it to feel big. We want to allow it to feel scary. That is okay, and that does not need to be the problem. But second of all, in order to get there, we want to next of all, we want to roughly understand how long we think it's going to take. Remember that time-based part of the SMART goal. So when it comes to weight loss, like I said before, most people are actually very much in a hurry because they want to feel better now. They want to feel better about themselves now, not just better physically now. But you actually get to feel better now just by the thoughts that you're thinking. You get to feel better about yourself now anyway. You don't have to beat yourself up, right? If you want to feel better about yourself, you don't have to wait till you achieve your goal. You have permission to feel awesome about yourself now. In fact, if you wait till you have achieved your goal to feel good about yourself, you might feel good about yourself for a moment, a day, a few days, a month or something, but then like the newness of the goal just wears off and you go back to treating yourself like an asshole again, right? Life, your relationship with yourself won't change just because you hit a number on the scale. That's something you've got to practice on the way down the scale, and you get to start that right now. Right, so start that right now. If you want to feel better about yourself right now, start it right now. Okay, now with that in mind, because you get to feel good about yourself right now, because you get to feel awesome about yourself right now, you don't need to be in a hurry to get to your goal because you can start feeling that way now. So my guidance to you around planning or deciding how long this might take you is to plan around about 1 pound or half a kilo per week. Don't bank on any more than that. Plan it around that amount. And now that doesn't mean that each week you're going to lose that amount exactly. That's not how it works, right? Some weeks you are going to lose a little bit more. Some weeks you'll lose less. Some weeks you're going to stand still. Some weeks you're going to go up. That's just how it works. But if you keep working towards your goal, over time it's going to go down in the right direction. And guess what? It's going to average out around about 1 pound, half a kilo per week. All right, but this is just not to give you guidance on what you should be doing week by week by week in terms of your goals. This is guidance to give you how long the whole journey might take you. So if you've got 50 pounds to lose, average it at about 50 weeks. It's about a year, right? You may lose it faster, and that is completely okay, right? That's completely okay. It may take you longer, and that is completely okay. Look, if you were to lose 40 pounds in a year, would you be unhappy? Right? Just because you didn't get to the 50 in a year, would you be unhappy with 40? No, I don't think you would be, right? You'd probably be ecstatic. So this is just to give you guidance, and yes, you can lose it faster. My client Tosh, he's lost 30 pounds already in 12 weeks. My client Bev has lost 66 pounds in a year. So, but set your expectations realistically around about that 1 pound or half a kilo per week. Okay, so now that you know how long roughly it will take you, so we're breaking this down now. So we've got the big goal, we know how long it's going to take us, right? Number 3, we want to break that goal down into monthly chunks. right? We want to break it. We want to know realistically what you might be able to achieve in a month. So with 1 pound ish per week, half a kilo, it's around about 4 to 5 pounds or 2 kilos ish per month. And suddenly, what was a massive number out in front of you, 50 pounds, say, for a year, just suddenly became a doable number in front of you for 1 month, right? And if you do this process month by month by month and keep moving yourself forward, by the end of 12 months, you'll be at your goal, right? So, step 4, now we start working on our 1 month goal, 4 to 5 pounds, 1 pound per week, but we're not going to say that we have to do 1 pound per week. Even saying we have to do 4 to 5 pounds per month, don't even look at it like that. We're breaking it down, going, 4 to 5 pounds, that feels doable. That feels doable. And what we go and do is, okay, for that first month, what are some simple steps I can take right now that I know will help me get to 4 to 5 pounds down by the end of this month? And suddenly you start breathing again. It's like, I gotta change all this stuff to get to 50 pounds off. And your brain freaks out. And now you're going, 4 to 5 pounds. Okay, that feels doable. It's around about, to lose a pound is around about 3,500 calories over the week, less than what you're eating now. So if you're maintaining your weight right now, it's 3,500 calories ish less than what you're eating right now. So around about 500 calories per day. And when you break it down by that, not that I want you to count calories, you do not need to count calories. But what we can do is just simply look for where there might be some easy wins. Are you still eating oil? 4 tablespoons of oil is almost 500 calories. If you're eating foods with oil in it, that oil can add up during the day, and certainly if you're still cooking with it. Are you having a daily glass of wine or beer? Something like that. That can easily add up. Also, just look for where there might be opportunities to switch out some higher calorie density foods. Where are you still eating processed foods that you can reduce or cut out? You don't have to cut out things completely in the early days. Just look for some easy wins. Are you eating a lot of the orange light foods like nuts and nut butters and nut dressings and things like that? Pasta, bread, those sorts of things. Does that form a big chunk of your diet at the moment? Can you just pare that back a little bit and explode that green light out instead? So that's some ways we can find some little wins. Also look for where you might be overeating as well. Eating when you're not hungry. So things like finishing the kids' leftovers, habitual eating, just going to the cupboard at a certain time of day because you're bored or you need a break from your work. Night eating, do you have a habit of sitting down in front of the TV and just having a snack? Do you have this desire to snack before bed because you might get hungry when you're sleeping? That's always a good one. Right. So look for any opportunity where you might be overeating when you are not hungry. This is really easy. This is a really easy one to tap into. Look for where you might be overeating at every meal as well, where you are eating beyond satiation, where you're eating to overfull. If you have a habit of doing that at every meal, then this is something to really pay attention to. All right. In this early phase, here is where you also want to start ensuring that you're drinking enough water as well. Just, if you're not drinking 2 liters, get yourself to 2 liters as a minimum. And my recommendation to you is to work it up to 3 over time. But let's just start where you're at in this first month and make that first commitment to get to 2 liters if you're not there already. Sleep as well. Here, if you don't have a solid sleep routine, if you're not getting enough sleep, here is where is a really good time to start putting in place a more solid sleep routine for yourself. All right. If the body is dehydrated, if you're not getting enough sleep, that's going to throw out hormone signals. It's going to throw out your hunger signals. You're going to end up eating more. You're going to end up particularly if you're not sleeping, your emotional management is going to be off. And if you have emotional eating patterns, then you're more likely to want to eat for your emotions if you're feeling tired or stressed. So, so getting a good sleep routine is essential for weight loss as well. So, I think I'm going to do some trainings on water and sleep a little later as well, and just talk through the importance of those. So here in this first month, we just want to find the opportunity to make some small adjustments, finding those easy wins that are going to help you get to your first month goal, that 4 to 5 pounds. Right? And also, we don't just keep these changes in our head, we document them. Right? You want to document what changes you're going to make in that first month and almost make them like your first monthly challenge. Right? Document them, make them a commitment to yourself. Okay, this month I'm going to get my water, I'm going to get my sleep, I'm going to stop this overeating pattern that I have. I'm not going to do any more boredom eating. If you've got emotional eating issues, by the way, don't try and do this in your first week. We want to work on that later. We want to work on that as we start to work on our emotions. This is not what you start to do in the first month. If you've got emotional eating behaviors, just keep doing it, right, for the first month. But look for any other easy grab ass type eating that is just kind of mindless. We don't need to do that. All right, so this is your first month. You're going to pay attention to your hunger and your fullness. You're going to get more green light foods in your diet. You're going to look at your water and your sleep. Some easy wins to get you going, right? So once you've documented your new protocol and how you're going to work on that first month, you go away and you execute, right? Then number 5, at the end of your first month, you want to assess. You want to look at what changes you did, what changes you were making, what changes you promised to yourself, and just ask, did I stick to this plan? And you don't beat yourself up if you didn't, right? No self-beat up. We don't do that around here. This is one of the things we want to start shifting as well, that way we talk to ourselves. But just ask, did I get to my goal? If no, did I not stick to my plan? If I didn't stick to my plan, what happened? What can I adjust for this month to make sure that I'm still working on that? If you did, if yes, I got to that goal, great. Okay, then it's time to start that process again. Keep running with those new habits that you've got locked in. Don't go back on those. Don't forget those. Keep those going. And just say, okay, what am I going to do next? What unhelpful habit am I going to look at dropping next? Or what new healthy habit can I start to adopt? Don't fall under the illusion that if some of those, say, not so helpful habits that you held on to in that first month, if you lost weight while still doing those, that they are going to be good to keep you going forever. So for example, I've had one client who was still having a nightly beer or two, and that was okay in the early days while she was changing her food. But now, but her brain was telling her that, okay, I can still have my beer and lose weight. But now it's at a point where it's like, well, this scale is actually not moving anymore, because now it's time to start shifting that habit as well. So be realistic with yourself. If what got you to where you are now is not going to be what gets you to the next goal. So you need to keep moving and shifting. Just ask yourself, what is it that is a next early little win, and keep shifting and learning and growing. And then you want to set your plan, set your commitment to yourself for the next month, and keep going. Almost have that like the next little challenge, all right? So you set another monthly plan, you make another commitment to yourself, and you keep going. And that's just what you keep doing month after month, All right. Um, and as you go through that process, then you will also be starting to work on managing your um, mindset as you go. You'll start to work on managing your emotions. You'll start working on mastering your emotional eating too. And if you stop beating yourself up along the journey, you'll also learn how to develop self love for yourself. You'll start becoming that newer version of you. You'll start showing yourself what is actually possible, right? You'll start to have self belief. If you just keep up with this process, you are starting to show yourself that I can achieve this. If I can do this, I can achieve anything, right? So let me show you that. Let me show you how it works again. Let's flick back to my screen. Show you on the visual. So here, comfort zone, where you're starting. Here, goals, where we're going to get to. In this space, all in between, is all the things that you want to let go of and all of the new things that you want to adopt. Well, you don't want to try and do it all at once because it's too much change for the brain. So what we do, we're setting that first month goal, all right? So we're stepping just slightly outside of our comfort zone. Come on, change it to green. Green is my color. And then, so this is, in that first month where you are dropping some of the unhelpful foods that you don't want to eat. You're adopting more green light foods. You're adopting your water and sleep routines. You're probably starting to move your body a little bit. And look at that. Your comfort zone expands. Right. And then we get to month 2. We set a new little set of challenges, right? Here is where we take it a little further. We start to adopt some self-love. We start to learn about the stories that we're telling ourselves about ourselves. We start to learn about our self-sabotaging behaviors because by now they're probably starting to kick in. So we start learning about those and we decide that it's not going to hold us back and we want to keep going. All right. So, and our comfort zone starts to expand. And as we start to achieve our goals, we start to have a little bit more self-belief. We start to speak to ourselves a bit nicer because suddenly, hey, we're doing it. Look at this. We start to have belief in ourselves, and we start to layer in other tools and tactics as well. And this is certainly something that I work with my clients on. Here is where we really start to learn around about mastering our mindset. We start dropping some of those limiting self-beliefs that we've been carrying around with us. We start recognizing the automatic thoughts that keep dragging us off track. And we start to develop more self-belief in ourselves. We start to learn about our people-pleasing habits and how people have been, we've been allowing everybody else's needs to come before our own. And so we decide to put that back in front of ourselves and stop telling ourselves that everyone else is going to lose out because we're putting ourselves first. We actually start to realize that everybody else is going to win when we're putting ourselves first, when we're showing up as the best version of ourselves. And we really stop self-punishing at this point. We start learning and growing and managing our emotional states better. And we start expanding that comfort zone even more, right? And we start stepping outside of what we thought was possible. Right, and you can see this is, and we can almost see the end in sight now. It's like we've got so much more belief in ourselves now that this is actually possible. And then what we do is we start going, okay, well, then we want to start dropping the stories about who we think we are, right? Who we think we are, what we think we're capable of. And it's like, whoa, if I've come this far, what else is there for me, right? I really think I'm capable of this. But once we realize that, holy shit, we've been able to achieve this, not just this weight loss goal, this big thing that was right in front of us. If I set my mind to anything else, it tells us that when we set our mind to something, we can achieve anything. And we start to really expand our comfort zone, not just achieve our weight loss goals. We're actually starting to become that new version of ourselves. And then, boom, we not just get to the goals, not just get to our weight loss goals, but we That's not working, is it? We don't just get to we don't just get to our goals, but we actually now realize that we've become the person we want to be and that we're living the life that we wanted to live. We've started to design that early on and we've really started living into it. And then we get to the goals. So that's how it's done, my friends. You do not need to change everything all at once because that is overwhelming. You want to take it step by step. You want to start with where you are now. And where you are now is inside that little comfort zone that you've been in. And it does require you stepping outside of the comfort zone in order to get to where you want to go. But you don't need to go sprinting to the finish line just yet. Just inch your way outside that comfort zone and expand your comfort zone 1 month at a time. Achieve your goals in small portions at a time. Set yourself realistic limits for a month and keep going. Stop telling yourself that you are failing if you haven't got to the end within 3 months. Right? It's okay. Look at how far you've come. Reflect at how far you've come and reflect on the fact that you're still moving forward. All right? So, of course, any big goal that we have in front of us is going to feel scary, right? And it feels scary just because we see how much change it's going to take and how much belief is required to get there. And that's like so far away from where you are at the moment. So we don't need to learn it all now. We don't need to shift it all now. Just take it one step, one skill, one habit at a time. Look for the early wins. Get used to the early wins. And then find some more little wins that you can start making. And the more you start to grow internally, right, and build your inner strength and the ability to keep changing and getting over life and its dramas and keep going through life and its dramas without flipping back and running back into the cave, the comfort zone, the more you get closer to your goal, the more the inner reflects externally, right? You won't just grow because you hit a number on the scale. You grow in the process. So I've heard a lot of stories about people who've lost the weight by doing some very restrictive diet or diet tactic, pills or shakes or cleanses or injections, it seems these days. And guess what happens? If you are not required to do any of the inner work on the journey to get there, then nothing has changed. And all of that weight will come back on when you're not doing the diet or the tactic. Diets don't work. 98% of them fail, right? Would you like to be one of the 2% who succeeds, right? You get the goal. You get to the big goal by making the small adjustments and learning and growing from within. You learn to get over your own bullshit. You learn to get over your own fears. You learn how to stay on track when your world goes crazy. You learn how not to buffer your emotions with food or alcohol. You learn to love yourself first. You become a stronger person internally. So it's not just about the food. Yes, the food is going to help you get to the goal. The right food is going to help you to get to the goal. It's going to fill you up, help you feel nourished, heal your body, bring you back to, hormonal balance. But it also takes that inner strength and determination and strong mindset to say no to all the false pleasures that are in this world. And I don't mean in a restrictive way. I just mean that you say no because you don't have a desire for those things anymore. You desire to do the inner work and you desire to get to your goal more than you desire unhelpful foods and both buffering and false pleasures in this world. So you get to a place where you want to live in a healthy body and you don't want to give in to all the temptations out there. So that's something that my clients and I work very closely on, helping them make small changes each week, and also helping them drop the, I guess, any addictive habits that they might have, and establish new healthy habits, helping them understand their mindset, their thoughts, their limiting beliefs that come up, help them manage their emotions so that they take the action that actually gets them a step closer to their goals, and really help them get connected with that future version of themselves, help them really start getting connected and creating that vision of the life that they want to live, the person they want to become, and help them start really connecting to it and living into it as they go along the journey. So most of my clients actually start out or come out feeling like a brand new person too. And that is when you know that the results are going to be long lasting, or that the lessons learned are going to continue for the rest of their lives. I just got a message from Bev yesterday, who we worked together for 6 months, and now it's been 6 months since we worked together, I think. So she messaged me just to say that she has now lost 50 no, sorry, not 50 kilos. It's 30 kilos in 52 weeks in a year, which was the 66 pounds I mentioned earlier. So she's taken all of the lessons that she learned working with me, and she's continued. You know, she hasn't just finished working with me and gone back to old habits. No, she's learned so much, and she continues the journey because she has so much inner strength and self-belief now. She's dropped the stories about how she can't do it, and she struggled for 50 years to lose it. Well, maybe not 50. She is 50. But she struggled all her life to lose the weight and could never work it out. And now she's 30 kilos lighter, all right? This is so much more than a diet. Losing weight is so much more than just going on a diet. It's about becoming the person that you want to become. All right, so are you clear now on how to break down that goal? Okay. Just reading some comments here. Emily, yes, sabotaging myself, yeah, not putting own needs first. Okay, balance is key. Glad you like the visual, Barbara. I hope that helps you as well. Yes, so I'm hoping you now are clear on how to break down that massive goal that you have in front of you into smaller, doable steps. You just want you want to know how long the big goal realistically is going to take you, and allow that. Like, don't freak out about how long it's going to take. What we want to do is bring it back to a realistic monthly target. Don't make it a weekly target, because week on week, even Bev, who's lost 30 kilos, she went up, she went down, she stalled, scale was all over the place, but she's gone down week on week. Okay, so look at it at a monthly level, but know what commitments you want to make to yourself once a month. Make that monthly plan, make that monthly commitment to yourself. Write it down somewhere. Don't try and just keep it in your head. Your brain's not meant to remember new stuff like that. It knows habits, old habits. If you're going to try and keep it in your head, you're going to forget. And your brain is going to have you going back to old habits. This is why people forget. So write it on a whiteboard. Write it on your bathroom mirror. Write it somewhere where you can see it every single day, right? Make your monthly plan. Make it a commitment to yourself. Make it something that you are determined to do that month. It doesn't have to be changing everything all at once. Just small shifts month by month to your food, to your eating habits, your overeating habits, to any other habits that you want to adopt. Also, look at what it is you want to let go of, right? If you want to adopt new, you've got to be getting rid of some old, right? We've got to clear out the old furniture to bring the new in. We can't just keep piling shit on top of shit. Transformation is that process of continually letting go of the stuff that is holding us back, keeping us in the cave, the strings that are tied around our waist, that are keeping us in our comfort zone in that cave, right? We've got to start cutting those so that we can keep taking steps outside of that cave, right? Make this commitment to yourself, and then you go away and execute, right? And then just assess at the end of the month, and you make a new plan for the new month, right? Just keep going month by month by month. Rinse, repeat every month. All right, does anyone have any questions? Thank you, Annie. Thank you. All right. So if you are struggling to do this on your own, because I know, it's it can be a lonely journey. It can be a tough journey. You don't have anybody necessarily questioning your own bullshit. It's hard to get inside your own brain. I know that. It's hard to get inside my brain. Having somebody to guide you on this journey and help you see where you're holding yourself back can be crucial. So, if you would like to come and join my amazing team of humans who are achieving amazing results at the moment, we would love to have you. Just seeing if any of my clients, I've got some of my transition clients on the journey, but sorry, on the live, but none of my weight loss journeys. So we would love to have you. I would love to help you achieve your goals as well. And I'm sure the rest of the team would love to be there to support you as well. So, if I've got any of my weight loss clients who are watching this back on repeat, drop in a comment, tell everyone how much we'd love them to join us. This is such a great supportive bunch, and they're so supportive to each other. I love it. They share their wins in the group, they cheer each other on, they share recipes, they get motivation and inspiration from each other as well, and also you get lots of motivation and inspiration from me between your sessions as well. So I drop in a lot of new content or motivating posts into our client group during the week to help everybody just stay focused. The amount of times I've had someone pop up and say, "Oh my God, I needed to hear that today, thank you." So, and we also have a group weekly call now, which is like an added support to your one-on-one sessions in between if you need it, or it's an extra training as well when you need it as well. So if you would like to be well and truly on your way to achieving your weight loss goals by Christmas, and especially with the holiday season coming up, right? Like, don't put off your goals until after the holidays, guys. That is self-sabotage. That's saying, "Oh, I can't do it yet because it's not the right time." No, never is the right time. There's never a perfect time to get started. Now is actually the perfect time, right? Starting to shift your habits now so that you get through the holiday season unscathed is a better way to look at it, instead of getting to the end of the holidays and actually having regret, right? Having another 10 pounds to get rid of, right? How would you rather be feeling at the end of the holidays? Would you rather be feeling great and in shape and glad that you didn't self-sabotage? Or would you rather be 10 pounds heavier, another 10 pounds to try and get rid of next year, right? So if you are ready to start smashing those goals right now by taking not massive chunks of change, right? Not changing everything, but by stepping into it, making small changes, right? Setting those small goals and having yourself really start to believe in yourself. Just type ready for me in capitals if you want in the comments. And let's have a chat. No obligation, but I'd love to be able to help you. I do have a couple of spots left for September that are still open. Let's have a chat and just see if the program is right for you. Want to make sure it's right for you, that I'm the right coach for you. It's all good if not, but don't hold yourself back just because you're scared. I can tell you, it's losing weight is just the first part of the journey, and what it opens you up to in terms of the rest of your life can be life-changing as well. So I look forward to hearing from you. If you're watching this on replay, just type #replay and say good day as well. Okay, are there any questions, guys? Okay. It was lovely spending my Saturday morning with you. Now I'm off to go and watch the AFL Grand Final, do my housework, and then going to a 40th birthday. Happy birthday to my friend Danny, the hairy herbivore, or the Bohemian Vegan on Instagram if you want to go and follow him. Amazing Italian vegan chef. Okay, I will catch you all later, guys. Thank you.